Thank you for joining us in the celebrating the graduation of Academy Class 2017 Alpha. Will you please stand for the presentation of the colors and the invocation? Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now I'd like to introduce Chief Mike Smith for the invocation.
Will you please bow with me? Lord, we come to you today thanking you for another day that we're able to honor and recognize men and women who have chosen to serve the city of Lubbock, the state of Texas, and your kingdom. Lord, we ask that you give these men and women a mind that is fortified with confidence and with knowledge, and a heart that is built upon integrity and character. Lord, we ask that you be with these men and women as they start or continue their career or have moved on to retirement. Lord, we've asked that you be with those impacted by Hurricane Harvey. We ask that you be with the men and women that serve your kingdom every day. Thank you, Lord, for being with us. Thank you for sending your Son. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Take your seat. Good afternoon. My name is Sergeant Wurm, and I am the Training Academy Class Sergeant. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge our distinguished guest, Mayor Dan Pope, Councilman Jeff Griffith, Councilman Steve Massengill, and I was told Councilman Juan Chattis would be here, but I haven't seen him walk in yet. I'd like to introduce our command and academy staff, the LPD command staff, Chief Greg Stevens, Assistant Chief Jerry Brewer, Assistant Chief Neil Barron, and Assistant Chief John Caspel. The LPD Academy staff, Captain Joshua Crouch, Lieutenant Jonathan Stewart, Sergeant Corey Nunley, Officer Jerry Mull, Officer Mike Matzik, Officer Tommy Prumer, Officer Tim Vaden, Officer Kimberly Crane, our administrative assistant, Joanna Vargas, and our facilities manager, Pat Martinez. At this time, I'd like to introduce Chief Stevens to present our department awards, and also Casey Whitley, our public information assistant.
At this time, we would like to recognize Supervisor of the Quarter, Sergeant Paige Fletcher. Sergeant Paige Fletcher, after nomination by the LPD's executive and command staff, You are hereby awarded the LPD Supervisor of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2017. With your assignment to the Field Services Bureau on Nights South Bravo, you handle all the crime scene officer supervisor duties for Nights Bravo. You ensure that all of our crime scene officers have all their needed equipment and training to be productive and efficient crime scene officers for the Lubbock Police Department. You are known as a mentoring sergeant, always the first to teach and mentor new supervisors to the shift. You are also the training coordinator for the LPD's Mounted Patrol Unit and are responsible for training lesson plans, locations, and training topics for that unit. You also work and attend several events in the role of a Mounted Patrol Supervisor. You have also volunteered your time at the Talkington School for Women, using your personal volunteer time to be a mentor there. You reach out to students there and help bridge any gaps between the Lubbock Police Department and the community in that mentoring role. You are thanked for your efforts and continued efforts to better the LPD and our community. We would now like to recognize Detective of the Quarter of Investigation Services Bureau, Detective Brian Dubois. After nomination by the LPD's executive and command staff and your supervisors, you are hereby awarded the LPD's Detective of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2017 for the Investigation Services Bureau. You are a long-standing member of the LPD's Crime Suppression Unit and work proactively to help all to affect the crime rate and perception of crime in Lubbock. During this past quarter, you have continued your exemplary work focusing primarily on property crimes and stolen vehicles. Your efforts and working closely with not just your unit, but the Field Services Bureau as a whole have promulgated several arrests, recovered stolen vehicles, and capture of numerous habitual offenders. You are deservedly known as a go-to detective, always knowledgeable about hot spots to address for property crimes and habitual offenders and how to investigate them. Your efforts, particularly in this past quarter, have further distinguished yourself among your fellow officers and continue to represent the LPD positively. Thank you for your efforts and congratulations. We would now like to recognize Officer of the Quarter of Field Services Bureau, Corporal Belinda House. After nomination by the LPD's command staff and your supervisors, you are hereby awarded the LPD's Officer of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2017 for the Field Services Bureau. During this quarter, Sergeant Paige Fletcher became a mentor at the Talkington School for Women, and you willingly became involved in that same project by volunteering your personal time to become a mentor there as well. You became a student mentor at that school, mentoring students with a project that involved research on student perceptions of police officers. This project dealt with the effect on student perception both before and after classroom interaction between police officers and students. You, along with Sergeant Fletcher, met with the students numerous times, interacting with them by discussing the role of police officers in society and socializing with them to help build bridges between their community and the Lubbock Police Department. Through these mentoring sessions, you were able to help cultivate strong relationships with the students, not only for yourself, but with the LPD. The results of the project and mentoring showed that the work by you improved their perceptions of police officers and thus bettered our community and community relations. Thank you for a job well done in becoming our Officer of the Quarter. We would now like to recognize Civilian of the Quarter who works in the Evidence Storage Facility, Caleb Murillo. After nomination by the LPD's command staff and your supervisor, you are hereby awarded the LPD Civilian of the Quarter for the second quarter of 2017. You have been with the LPD's property room since May of 2009 and have since earned your advanced certification from the Texas Association of Property and Evidence Inventory Technicians, also known as TAPIT. You have developed an elite knowledge of the day-to-day operations of our property room, have computer expertise, and use your knowledge to troubleshoot and keep the property room system operational and functional. During this past quarter and before, you have also developed written protocols for intake of evidence and efficient storage of those items. Also during this quarter, you have been instrumental in planning for a new property room warehouse, a facility that will become the new home of the property room and the LPD's crime lab. Your efforts have displayed the need for this new facility and helped plan for the efficient clean out and move of the current inventory to the new facility when ready. Also during this quarter and before, you have proven a valuable assistant to our Wrecker Ordnance Corporal in working with her on the LPD's abandoned vehicle auction. You are thanked for your efforts this quarter and beyond. Congratulations. We would now like to present the Distinguished Service Award to Officer Eric Harris. After nomination by your sergeant and unanimous vote of the Awards Approval Board, you are hereby awarded the LPD's Distinguished Service Award for meritorious and dedicated work throughout your career, and specifically for your efforts on the LPD's Crime Suppression Unit. You have been assigned to the unit for the past several years and have been instrumental in regular recovery of stolen vehicles. You created a compiled hot sheet in February of 2016 and distributed it to the unit to help in solving stolen vehicle cases as well as finding and recovering them. You later expanded your efforts to other LPD officers to ensure the data and information was readily available. Thanks to your effort, in the summer of 2016, your unit became primarily responsible for working auto theft cases, a task that you willingly and voluntarily accepted. Your efforts have made the LPD's Crime Suppression Unit the model for proactive, productive, and professional street policing in this region, and have made it one of the most successful units to date. You have distinguished yourself and the LPD by your continuous exemplary conduct and have exceeded the normal demands required and expected while performing your duties and your prolonged efforts on the job, and are congratulated for your efforts with this award.
Sure, both of these. Nope, it's just this one. Okay. I just want to say real quick before we move into the next phase of this. 2 years ago, I didn't feel like that we had enough mechanisms with which to reward some of the strong performance that our folks do day in and day out, both on the sworn side and the civilian side. We've got over 550 employees that day in and day out do great work. And we look for ways to expand how we recognize that good work. And so that was an example of that. It's just one way where we can recognize hard work to show during a quarter who really went above and beyond, and with the Distinguished Service Award, who over the course of a number of months to years really contributed a great deal. So another round of applause for those awardees, please.
Not only are we going to be celebrating the beginning of a career for these cadets that are up here today, we're also going to be celebrating 3 individual retirements. The first individual that receiving a plaque from the mayor and the city council, Officer Michael Chavez. He has 15 years with the Lubbock Police Department and several years with prior military service. His certificate from the city council reads, Officer Michael Joseph Chavez is hereby recognized for generous and unselfish service to the citizens of Lubbock. Congratulations and best wishes upon your retirement after 15 years of meritorious service to the City of Lubbock Police Department.
Because there's too big. Okay, they should get a clock.
They each also get a clock, but they are too big for us to bring them out for everybody, so we're going to put them back here. He will also be receiving a Texas state flag that was flown over the police department. The flag of the state of Texas presented to Officer Michael Joseph Chavez. This is to certify that the accompanying flag was flown over the Lubbock, Texas Police Department on July 27, 2017, in honor of your retirement and 15 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Lubbock.
Let me just make mention of his badge.
He will also be receiving a retirement badge from the city of Lubbock. Our second retiree, Officer Ryan Hitt. Officer Hitt has 16 years with the Lubbock Police Department and several years previous law enforcement.
You gotta read his flag. Yeah, read the flag. Be in the right spot.
The flag of the state of Texas presented to Officer Ryan Allen Hitt. This is certified that the accompanying flag was flown over the Lubbock, Texas Police Department on July 27, 2017, in honor of your retirement and 16 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Lubbock. And finally, Sergeant Ross Hester, who is retiring with 30 years of law enforcement service. The flag of the state of Texas presented to Sergeant Grady Ross Hester. This is certified that the accompanying flag was flown over the Lubbock, Texas Police Department on July 27, 2017, in honor of your retirement and 30 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Lubbock.
I used to be good at math until I got an iPhone, and now my iPhone is good at math. But that's a lot of years of law enforcement service put together right there. And I want to tell you that each one of those individuals contributed to the citizens of this Lubbock an insurmountable amount. And specifically, I'll tell you that Ross Hester was my first field training officer. When I came out of the academy, just like these individuals over here that we're about to graduate, you leave the academy and then you go to your first night out, and they're going to go and get in the car of a field training officer, and it all hits home right then. And for me, in February of 1993, that was with Ross Hester. And so a little bit of a moment right there. That's a big deal. That's a lot walking out the door. And so a lot of gratitude that I owe to him. Each one of the other individuals as well, a lot of combined service that we owe a great deal of gratitude. So another round of applause for those three individuals.
Next, we have 3 promotions. First, we have Detective Dustin Gay, who will be promoting to sergeant.
We'll do the sergeant first, because we don't have a sergeant. Yeah, that's right, Dustin. You're right. All right. Yeah, perfect.
Next, we have Officer Victor Brack, who would be promoting to detective, but he is out of the country at this time, so we will hold his badge until he gets back. Next, we have Officer Billy Mitchell, who will be promoting to detective.
So one of my favorite things to do in this job is to promote new officers up into the ranks as they climb through our organizational structure. If I could have the spouses or significant person in these officers' lives come up on stage, one of the things that we do now, we recognize that it doesn't occur in a vacuum for our promotion process. It's very difficult. There's a lot of sacrifice. And very symbolically, we're going to let these folks pin their new badges on their shirt for them, if we could take a moment for that.
Now I'd like to welcome to the stage Sergeant Jason Jones and Father Benedict Rudolph Castra.
Good afternoon. I am Sergeant Jones with the Lubbock Police Department. I'm also a member of our chaplaincy. Today we'll be performing an installation with Father Rudy. The Lubbock Police Department chaplaincy is proud to announce the formal installation of Father Rudolph Rudy Castra. Father Rudy is a priest of the Holy Spirit Catholic Church here in Lubbock. Father Rudy has completed 40 hours of specialized training through the International Conference of Police Chaplains and received endorsement from his congregation to serve as a law enforcement chaplain. A thorough criminal investigation and fingerprint check, a drug screen, and an interview has also been completed. These steps are required for the chaplain application process and were completed by Father Rudy on his personal time, which he willingly set aside to receive the opportunity to stand beside the men and women of the Lubbock Police Department. Father Rudy, on behalf of the Lubbock Police Department Chaplaincy Program, I would like to present you with the plaque signifying your installation as chaplain with the Lubbock Police Department.
The arduous process to be accepted into LPD Academy Class 2017 Alpha began on October 8, 2016. On that day, a total of 250 applicants arrived to take the written exam and the physical agility exam. Those who successfully completed both portions then went through an exhaustive background investigation and began the interview process. Applicants interviewed in front of a panel and followed that with an interview with the Chief of Police. Following that, the remaining applicants underwent a psychological exam, thorough medical exam, and finally a polygraph before being accepted into the Police Training Academy. They began the academy on March 6, 2017, which to them probably feels like an eternity ago. But today, 25 weeks later, they graduate. During their time in the academy, the recruits successfully completed approximately 40 different classes on a variety of topics for over 900 hours of classroom instruction. The state of Texas only requires 643 hours. At the Lubbock Police Academy, we go the extra mile and require more from these recruits. We have recently added new training to our curriculum, such as trauma-affected veterans. With so many veterans returning from the battlefields in Iraq and Afghanistan, many with PTSD, this type of training is invaluable. Despite the large volume of information we have thrown at them, they absorbed it and they are now prepared to apply it. What a colossal feat this is for these new police officers sitting up here. This is the culmination of 25 weeks of intensive study and effort. If you're a family member, you already know what it has taken to get to this point. Hours of study, endless training time, sweat, and a ton of stress. We watch this class become closer and mature with each shared experience and training. It's not unusual at all to lose several recruits throughout the academy, whether that is due to academics, physical training, or just a change of heart. The 15 officers graduating today is a reflection of the commitment of the academy staff, the training instructors, and the support this class provided to each other to become the select few who have the honor to be called a Lubbock police officer. So let me be among the first to officially congratulate you. Not only those sitting up here, but the friends and family that have helped them with this accomplishment. It is truly a team effort. We are proud of each of these new officers. Thank you for being here to show that continued support. Out of each academy class, the academy staff selects one officer to give a speech on behalf of the entire class. For class 2017 Alpha, Officer Rachel Forrester has that honor. Officer Forrester.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of Academy Class 2017 Alpha, I would like to thank each of you for being here today. It is an honor to stand before you this afternoon as we are sworn in to serve the city of Lubbock. We appreciate your continuous support. To the Academy staff and all of the instructors, thank you. Without all of your instruction and guidance, we wouldn't be standing here today. All of your time and effort put into molding us into officers has given us the opportunity to become members of this great police department, and it is greatly appreciated. From the very start of the Academy, we've been surrounded by some extraordinary people who have taught us, led us, who have given their best to shape our minds, our thinking, and inevitably shape our careers as officers. From the very first day, I was struck with the force and honesty of what many of the instructors had to say. From personal stories of struggle and growth to impassioned appeals urging us to seek excellence in all that we do. Each lesson was one given with a kind of honesty which only life's experiences can cultivate. I would like to thank our command staff and the administrators of the Academy for placing these instructors in front of us. I know that all of us will have long-lasting memories of each of you and of the knowledge that you gave. Next, I would like to thank our families for supporting all of us throughout this Academy. The stress of this Academy affected our families as much as it did all of us, so again, thank you for all of the understanding and for your continuous support as we start the beginning of our careers. You were with us before the Academy, by our sides as we went through the Academy, and you'll be with us long after we hang up our guns. You are and will remain the greatest asset of all. Someone who knew a lot about suffering and trials gave us counsel when she said, "Character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved." Those words of advice came from Helen Keller. When we started this academy, we were a group of individuals from all over the country, Washington to New York, Florida to Pennsylvania, and Illinois, with hopes all of becoming police officers. We are leaving this academy as a family who have suffered, failed, and succeeded together in order to become the best officers we can be. The long hours of studying, rigorous physical training, and extensive academic courses have challenged all of us over the past 6 months. It is said that the highest quality diamonds are created under the greatest pressure. That pressure has allowed us to grow and develop as a single unit to accomplish challenges that would be nearly impossible as individuals. I speak for the entire class when I say that we are very proud to become part of a much larger family here with the Lubbock Police Department. In closing, I would like to thank all of my classmates. It's been an honor learning and training with you. The bond we have formed over the past 6 months cannot be replaced, and I look forward to working with all of you. Congratulations.
Once again, I'd like to introduce Chief Stevens for the presentation of the diplomas. Officer Misael Arellano. Officer Neil Baker. Officer Andrew Deal. Officer David Dias. Officer Rachel Forrester. Officer Wesley Hawk. Officer Sharnice King. Officer Justin Crowder. Officer Jason Lawson. Officer Thomas Newman. Officer Jared Salazar. Officer Michael Simpson. Officer Corin Tenhaken. Officer Jacob Vanneman. Officer David Williams.
That's good stuff. Have a seat. So I'm going to say just a few words. Really, I am. That's some of you don't believe me, especially these guys over here. I'll start real quick. I want to say thank you to our academy staff. So over the course of the last 2 years, 2 years ago we had a bit of a crisis on our hands. Our manpower was as low as it had ever been in a per capita from a per capita view, and we were having to withdraw units, and we at one point had to pull people out of detectives. We had to face some hard problems, which is what law enforcement does. You face hard problems and you tackle those problems. And we challenged the academy staff. We challenged the entire department, but primarily that fell on the shoulders of the academy staff to fill our ranks. And that job is done. We are now at a point, the third tier in a goal that we set of recruiting, retention, and expansion. We're now in that expansion phase. And in this budget year, we went to city leadership and asked to add positions to the Lubbock Police Department. That hadn't been done I don't know how long. So I want to congratulate them. First, I want to point out that this academy staff is handpicked. They are there because they are the best of the very best that the Lubbock Police Department has to offer, which is, in my opinion, the best law enforcement agency across the land. And from that good stock, you have these fine folks right here. And so I'd like to give them a round of applause, if I could get them to stand up. And it's not just the sworn officers, it's our civilian staff that's out there that keeps that operation going. Captain Crouch, thank you for getting us to that point to where we had an academy class start Monday where we overhired by 7 people. That's a big deal. We haven't overhired in more than a decade and a half probably. I don't know the last time. It's a big deal. So which brings me to what you have sitting before you over on this side of the stage. I'll point out what you aren't really hearing from is in the middle of the stage. So how did we accomplish that? How did we get to that point? We put a lot of things to bear. We changed the way that we were recruiting. I say we, it's a they issue. How did they do that? They did a lot of things differently. We stopped some things that weren't working, and we started doing a lot of things that did work. We recruited in our region. We convinced people to move to the big city of Lubbock. A lot of things really paid big dividends, and we also created a lateral academy because we know that there are officers out there that are already licensed. Maybe they work for other agencies, and we opened up a process where people can come to work in the greatest city, I think, in the country, certainly in this area, in this region. Lubbock, Texas is the best place in the world to live, raise a family, and work. The problem with police work is you always, in almost every area, you have to start at the bottom. Even if you're already a ranking officer or you've been somewhere for a number of years, you have to, if you want to move to a new city, you have to start at the very bottom. It's one of the few careers where you can't lateral in. Well, we changed that to a degree, as much as the law would allow. And so in the middle, you have 5 people sitting there. 4 I want to point out. The 4 officers, Jared Nolan, Daniel Steen, Kim Kane, and Sarah Martinez, are already licensed officers, and they started with this academy class, but they only went through part of that academy and went right out to the streets, and they're already out working and serving the citizens of this community. It's one of the good training or good recruiting tools that we've employed, and they're doing a great job already. One of them was prior LPD. One came from the Permian Basin area. Other 2 were, one was Texas Tech PD. Sorry, Kyle Boneth, if you're attending. And the other has other law enforcement experience. We tapped into that to serve the citizens of Lubbock, Texas better. And the 5th one is Corey Williams. He's actually starting with the academy class that started Monday, but since he's prior LPD, he'll be out on the streets in a matter of days, I think, if he's not starting tonight. I'm not sure. Probably needs to go home and get some sleep. So again, I'm going to be brief. But I want to recognize these 5 individuals as part of how we've accomplished this goal. There's no magic involved. It's just outside of the box thinking, and it's understanding that we got a goal to meet, and we're going to meet that goal. We have a challenge, and we're going to meet that challenge. And this academy staff has gotten that done. So good work. So let's talk about these 15 individuals over here. We always want to characterize that we have a team, and they know teamwork. Trust me, of anyone in the world, these folks know teamwork. But what sits before you is not a team. We always want to say that. We always want to use the word teamwork. And in my experience, and I've been in a lot of organizations, the Lubbock Police Department, the U.S. Navy, worked in a lot of different units. When I hear people talk too much about teamwork, they're typically doing a lot of talking while other people are getting the work done. And so I'm often a little skeptical of that. What you have sitting before you, they can function as a team, trust me, or they wouldn't be in those chairs, but what you have sitting over there is a group of high-performing individuals. Because there's no team in a Lubbock police car. There's an individual, a highly performing individual. And when it requires more than that one individual, more show up, and you then have a collective group of highly performing individuals. And that's what they've been taught. And the only way to get there is to learn to work as a team, everyone pulling their weight. And where teams begin to fail is when too many people rely on the others to do all the work. But what you have over there are people who can work in a team, but who can get the job done on their own and individually, because that's what teamwork entails, or I'm sorry, that's what police work entails too often, is at 2 o'clock in the morning pulling a car over full of about 4 or 5 people by yourself. And it's minutes, at least, until someone else shows up. So they have now produced a group of highly performing individuals that will serve you. And so what is that? So what does that take? They know adversity, and we talk about that word a lot, and it's one of those words that gets overused too much. So what it takes to get to that chair right there that they're sitting in is the ability to cope with adversity and the ability to press on. And in a little bit, one of the Academy staff is going to award someone the Physical Fitness Award. But I'm going to tell you, no one cares how many burpees anyone can do. No one cares how far any of you can run. It's an irrelevant point. You're not going to go to a call to take a burglary report and knock out 15 pull-ups. We can agree with that, right? Those are unimportant issues. And no one really cares who got the highest grade on their penal code exam. You all passed your state licensing exam. What matters is that you will not quit. You will not give up. You will persevere. You will push through adversity. And that's how you got to this position right here. And you've all heard me say this before. I'm not talking about a gunfight. No, the police aren't in gunfights every day. That's not something that happens and probably won't happen in any of your careers. It could, and I don't want you to give up in it, granted. What I'm talking about is when your police car is stuck in the snow, the people are still waiting on you. And you'll have to get out and walk the rest of the way. You can't quit. You can't give up. And when there's a lost child, just because it's the end of your shift, we don't give up. We don't stop. We don't clock out. We don't have a time clock in the police department. You keep going and you persevere until you accomplish that mission. These folks know adversity. And that's what finishing this academy really illustrates. Every society must have members who are, and they've all heard me say these 3 things, who are willing, who are qualified, and who are capable. It takes those 3 things to be a police officer. Every society must have members who are willing, qualified, and capable to face its hard problems, to stand up and say, yes, I will. I will crush that hard problem that society throws at me when everyone else can't do it. You've already heard the numbers. Several hundred showed up to test. The numbers dwindle further and further down until before you sits these 15 and these 4 that are going to take an oath in a moment. And we're always tempted, and yesterday we had the opportunity to talk about the U.S. Constitution, to talk about the oath of office, to talk about the promise that they make. And too often, when we take those oaths for an office that you hold, we state our name and we glaze over the rest, blah, 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 so help me God. The only promise that these individuals are going to make is that they're going to swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States and of this state, of the state of Texas. It's a document they're never going to lay eyes on. But they're going to promise and they're going to swear, so help them God, that they will protect and defend that document that they'll never see, locked away in a bunker somewhere in Washington, D.C. So what is it that they're actually taking that oath of office to do? It's a way of life. It's the American way of life. And for all of the criticism, for all of the things that you read on social media, all the gripes, all the complaints, it's the most sought after way of life. It's the most copied way of life. Nations across the globe, they try to emulate it. But why can't they? Because they always try to improve it just a little bit, try to tweak it, try to outdo it just a little bit. And that's where it goes wrong for them. Because it's as close, I think, to perfect as you can possibly get. It's not perfect, but there's no other place on earth better than what we have in the American justice system, for all its frailties. And in a moment, you're going to watch these 15 people stand up and swear to uphold that way of life. And I'm asking them, we had this conversation yesterday, not to take that lightly. And I would ask that you hold them accountable to that. I've already instructed them that they're to hold each other accountable, and they're to hold me accountable. And then finally, what I say to each class, and this comes from a mentor that I had. Treat people, because we're in the people business. We don't make things. We don't create a gadget to sell. We're in a service business. We're in the people business. Treat people the way that you would have, not yourself, because we always have, especially at the age of most of these individuals, we always have this idea that, oh, well, I would never be in that circumstances. Forgetting, of course, that we all at some point in our life are but one or two bad decisions away from those circumstances. So take yourself out of the equation and treat people the way that you would have your loved one treated under similar circumstances. Because we all have someone in our families and our lives that have faced or face some of the circumstances in which you're going to find people. Treat that individual the way you would have your loved one treated under similar circumstances. And this career will be good to you for a lot of years, for many, many years, and you'll have a great retirement like the individuals that you saw earlier. We're 100% accountable for everything we do. All of our successes, all of our failures, and the Lubbock Police Department will own every one of those. And I want to assure you that that's the way we do things here. 100% of the time, we own everything that we do. Doing good police work is the most fun you will ever have. That's a quote from one of my favorite authors. Remember the key word good. Doing good police work is the most fun you will ever have. Find balance in your life. You'll love this career as much as I have for almost 25 years. Ready? All right. You want to call them up?
Thank you, Chief. We began the process of molding police officers out of Class 2017 Alpha on day one, March 6, 2017. On that day, we started with a group of wet behind the ear recruits, a group that had no idea what they were getting themselves into. The journey from March 6th to August 25th took 5.5 long months. Along the way, several members of this class were left behind, some due to academics, some to physical training, and even one to an integrity violation, which is a polite way of saying he lied and he cheated. Like we told the class on day one, you only have integrity once. We even have large signs and bold letters saying this throughout the academy and the police department. Without integrity, you are not deserving of the trust that the citizens of Lubbock put in those of us that wear this badge. In the end, though, after hours and hours of academics, all the physical training, defensive tactics, firearms, test after test, all the burpees and push-ups, we got down to this highly trained group of 15 police officers. In every group, you'll always find certain individuals who excel, to those that go beyond what is required of them. It is usually those members of the group that act as the glue that hold the rest together. An ancient Greek philosopher once said, out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 are just targets, 9 are the real fighters, and we are lucky to have them, for they make the battle. But the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others back. At this time, we're going to recognize those officers who showed individual excellence. Presenting the award for physical fitness, Officer Michael Matzik.
Good afternoon. Our profession demands that we as police officers maintain a professional level of fitness for the safety of ourselves, our fellow officers, and our community. The physical training program at the Lubbock Police Academy is designed to assist these police officers you see before you today with a basic understanding of physical fitness and the importance it has not only on our profession, but our everyday life. The person selected for the Physical Training Award for Class 2017 Alpha embodied what the Police Academy PT program was designed for: to be better than yesterday and to be ready at all times. The award for 2017 Alpha goes to Misael Ariano.
Presenting the Academic Achievement Award, Officer Tommy Prumer.
Good afternoon. Lubbock Police Academy Class 2017 Alpha has consisted of 25 weeks of training, covering 49 separate courses, totaling over 900 training hours. The officer that maintained the highest academic average throughout the academy, with an overall average of 95.32, is Officer Justin Crowder.
Presenting the Firearms Achievement Award, Officer Jerry Mole.
Lubbock Police Academy Firearms is very extensive, and we've expanded it over the last few years, not only to include the basic pistol and shotgun that traditionally we instruct on, but also the patrol rifle course, less lethal shotgun course, and we've also expanded into vehicular close quarters battle training. The number of rounds fired just in pistol alone was 2,500 per student. In the end, we added up all the scores, and the best top shooter of class 2017 Alpha is Andrew Dill. Didn't want to give it away?
Nope. I'll keep Jerry Mole up here also. He'll be presenting the Honor Graduate Award.
The Honor Graduate Award is always special for two reasons. One, it's not based on a score or a single test or one-time performance of a specific task, nor is it based on popularity. It's a reflection of what the recipient is. And two, the recipient is selected for this award by their peers, and that selection has to be endorsed by the Academy staff. The Lubbock Police Department's values are integrity, accountability, leadership, and service. These guys are quizzed almost on a daily basis from the beginning of the Academy to recite those from memory. And it's only fitting that the recruits are instructed to select the recruit who consistently personifies these values throughout the Academy. It is my privilege to present the honor graduate for Class 2017 Alpha, David Dias.
Now I'll have Chiefs Greg Stevens come back for the oath of office.
Class 2017 Alpha, on your feet. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of police officer of the state of Texas and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God. Congratulations.
As we draw to the end of this ceremony, I would like to remind all of you that while this may be the end of the academy, this truly is just a beginning. These officers will now begin to take the knowledge and skills they've acquired and learn to apply them in an endlessly changing set of circumstances. We have every confidence that they will continue to shine and to make us proud as they protect the citizens of Lubbock. Good luck to these new officers as they face new and exciting challenges. Thank you all again for coming. Please stay as long as you like to enjoy this moment. Take pictures and enjoy the refreshments. Class 2017 Alpha, you are dismissed.